everybody. Welcome to Two Dads Talk Games. I'm Michael.
I'm Ryan.
And I just got a text from my wife. Apparently, my daughter just urinated on my bed. Great way to start this off. Okay, so today we are going to be discussing our top 5 games of 2016, and we're going to throw in a couple of honorable mentions there. So, the way we're going to do this is we're just going to bounce back and forth, starting at number 5, work our way to the climax, and then we will jump into the honorable mentions. So, actually, first thing we're going to do is we're going to deal with the immediate elephant in the room.
You're wearing glasses.
Yeah.
I've known you for how many years now?
I don't know, like 10 plus? No, way more than that. Yeah, no, about 10 or 12.
Since you worked in an internet cafe.
Yeah, so it's about 12 years.
12 years. And you yesterday you never wore no glasses. Did you?
No, I went to the optometrist on, what day is it today? Recording today, it's Thursday. I went on Tuesday. They were like, yeah, so you have a little bit of astigmatism in one eye and you're farsighted in the other eye. So your eyesight is constantly correcting itself when you're sitting in front of a computer, which is probably what's causing you headaches. They're like, it's a pretty weak prescription. I picked out some frames. They're like, hey, we got these in stock. Come back in 2 days. We'll have your glasses ready. Went back today, quite literally 5.5 hours ago, and now I have glasses.
Sad face. You're old.
Nerd alert. No, I'm just...
It's okay. It could be worse. You could own, like, fake glasses.
Ooh, the fake glasses.
You remember my fake glasses?
Oh,
phase?
Yeah. Oh, I remember them. I remember how you were like, yeah, these make me look boss. Now I have real glasses. How do you feel about that?
You look boss?
Oh. No, there you go.
There you go.
Okay, well, let's get into it here. You go ahead and you start with your number 5.
Okay, are we doing snake order? Can we do snake order? I like snake
I don't know
order.
what that means.
So we reverse the order of like a snake.
So like you started 5 and I started 1?
So I started 5,
Yeah.
and then you do 5, and then 4. So it's like round 2 you go first.
Oh, okay.
And then clearly you don't do enough fantasy sports.
I don't play any fantasy sports, and I don't play any real sports.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Yeah, we'll try your snake thing out of whatever. Yeah.
Snake draft.
Point being, go ahead. You go first.
Okay, so number 5. And I actually have 2 for number 5.
Wow, what a way to start.
Pardon me. So my 2 for number 5, I do have sound reasoning for having 2 for number 5. I chose Deus Ex, whatever the new one's called.
Mankind Divided.
Mankind Divided. Sorry, I was going to say Human Revolution, but that was the last one, which was quite good. But yeah, Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, and Final Fantasy 15. And my reasoning is because I'm part of the way through both, but not really, I would say, nearly far enough to have a good evaluation for which one is better. But I feel like both of them are better than, and whatever number 6 or 7 would be. So they're my number 5. Deus Ex, if you played Human Revolution, the gameplay is very similar. The story so far is equally engaging. I really like the IP of Deus Ex. Did you play?
No, I haven't played
any of them. Did you play the older ones?
No. They were on sale, on the Steam sale, on the winter sale, and I was like, I am going to limit myself to $50, and Far Cry Primal took up a lot of that $50.
Budgeting.
Yeah,
gamer.
Yeah, exactly. When, Dad's sale comes around, you got to...
Because we now have to save money for our kids' games. What is this? So, yeah, the gameplay, it's got the typical... Basically, you can do everything 3 ways. Stealthy, intellectually, I guess, hacky, or actiony, right? Just shoot people.
It's kind of like Watch Dogs. Which kind of has that same feel. I don't know if you've played that or not.
No, see, I haven't played it.
It's basically the same thing, except the,
I think it's more open world, isn't it?
The bullety version, the non-quiet way of playing the game. It's like rocket launch. You're like a hacker, and you're blowing stuff up with a rocket launcher. It's like, come on, this is a little bit much. But anyways, I digress. You go on.
So they're good. I think what I like the most about it is the setting. Because it's set in the original, or not the original, the last one was set at the point where people are just starting to get cybernetics and people are manipulating this in various ways to accomplish things and turning people against, promoting hatred and bigotry and whatnot, and inciting unrest and things like that. And so this is sort of a continuation of the plot from the first one, the last one. I should stop saying the first one. It ends in a big cliffhanger, and you get to make the choice. And of course, this game carries on as if you made one of the two choices. So it's been quite good so far, but I'm not far enough in it to give it a final grade per se. And then Final Fantasy 15, the unfortunate part with that is I have to play it on the console, and of course, having two children, my older one, 11, likes to watch TV in our room, of course, and then the 2.5-year-old has to sleep in there and nap in there, so needless to say, there's not a lot of time for me to play PlayStation 4 in there, and so I'm only a couple hours into Final Fantasy 15. It's definitely a big divergence from previous Final Fantasy titles, but the combat is kind of become the main focus of entertainment compared to the other ones, and I like that the combat's really good. So it's kind of a neat, refreshing take on Final Fantasy 15. I know your wife plays.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, I don't have Final Fantasy 15 on my list, but it is one of my honorable mentions. But yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I have very minimal playtime. I think I'm about 10 or 15 hours. My wife, on the other hand, is 140 to 150, somewhere around there, and she's probably going to get mad at me for admitting that out there. But you know what? You play what you love, right?
Probably hit 160 by the time this podcast has been edited. So.
Oh yeah, well, probably by the time we're actually done recording it, considering my daughter should be in bed by now. Okay, well, I'll start off with my number 5, and apparently my number 4 as well.
Well, yeah, do your number 5.
So my number 5 is Far Cry Primal. Like I just mentioned, I picked it up in the Steam Winter Sale. I've got about 40 hours logged, and I think I'm about halfway through the game, which is why it's so low on my list. I was going to give the spot to Civ 6, only because it's my first introduction to the Civ series, and it's, like, perfect. I can't find anything wrong with the game. But then again, I've never played other Civs. But anyways, I digress again.
I haven't even gotten to play it yet, and I'm the Civ guy.
Yeah.
Because I've just been too cheap to pony out the, $90 million that it cost.
That's why I bought it on sale. I got it 50% off.
I even bought the crappy Civ 5 Beyond Earth, which wasn't crappy. It was a glorified mod, unfortunately.
I didn't buy Civ 6 50% off. I got it free when I got my RX 480.
I hate you.
I got a free promo code.
I hate you.
That was one of the reasons I bought that card, because I was interested in getting Civ 6, and I was like,
I don't know if I mentioned...
That's like getting $80 off the card.
Anyways.
Yeah, it all worked out. It's a good game.
I'm the Civ guy.
So, Far Cry Primal. I really enjoy this game because I've played some of the other Far Cry's, and it's obviously totally different because it's Primal. You're not running around with guns. You've got like a spear and a bow and arrow and a club.
So they made the weapons worse, and this is apparently better?
Well, you're fighting guys that aren't wearing any, armor. Well, I guess they're not
really
wearing
armor. So they made the bad guys worse also, and this is apparently better?
They just kind of, took it down a notch. Instead of doing 1,000 points of damage, you're doing, 1. And that's all it takes to kill a guy. Because that's all it would take to kill a guy, is a club to the dome. But you can control animals. I have, 11 out of the potential, I think 15. And I have to say the best one is you can throw, a bee's nest at somebody.
Okay,
and they swarm in bees.
That game wins right there.
They run around, and then the next guy beside him can get infected with bees as well. And you can wipe out a whole camp with a couple of bees nests. It's amazing. So that's my number 5. My number 4 actually is a bit of an odd one that a lot of people really enjoyed, but it also got a lot of criticism, and it's Firewatch.
Firewatch. I haven't even heard of Firewatch.
So it's really short. You can beat the whole game in 3.5 hours.
Mm-hmm. What type of game is it then?
It's like a story that's being told. I don't know how to describe it. You're a guy who's going through some hard lifetimes, and you sign up for this Firewatch duty where you quite literally just live in this tower and in the middle of nowhere.
I saw it on Steam.
Yeah, and you watch out for fires, and the only person you have contact with is a woman on the other end of the radio. And you just go out every day and you explore. It's quite linear because again it's a story game. It's kind of like a Telltale game. It's you have to go where they want you to go, but it's just a story of how this guy spends a summer watching for fires. There are dramatic elements to it. You fall down a pit and you don't have your rope and you got to climb through the caves and sorry. Spoiler alert.
We're new to this.
Yeah, new.
Don't
too late.
castrate us yet.
Good game regardless. Yeah, I beat it real fast. Like I said, it was like sub 3 hours. But the story that it told, it really made you feel like you were part of it. And in the end, you really sympathized with the guy and the life that he had kind of left behind and was going back to. I won't give away any spoilers there, but needless to say, it hits you in the feels. It hits you in the feels, man.
I'm gonna say the Telltale style of games, because I guess it's beyond just Telltale, but they really seem to have hit quite a good chord. You know, they've got a good formula going. I played a bunch of the Game of Thrones one. I haven't quite finished it yet. And I heard good things about the Batman one once they fixed the lag in it.
Yeah, I was going to say the Batman one seems to be blowing up right now.
The Walking Dead one is supposed to be quite good. So, yeah, it's nice to see an emphasis on the story and storytelling. So, anyways, so that was your number 4.
Yep.
So on to my number 4, probably a more controversial pick here, but Tom Clancy's Le Division.
Oh god. Give me a break. Go ahead.
I waited so hard for this game. I pre-ordered it with the t-shirt accidentally on US the site where you get game deals sometimes, thinking it was in Canadian, it was in US. So I was thinking
G2A?
I was donating. I don't remember. So I basically ended up paying like $75 US.
Oh, which if anybody out there is in the US or other parts of the world, we're in Canada and the exchange rate is...
Yeah, it was basically like $813 Canadian.
Yeah, give or take.
So, but I did get a t-shirt, and it is one of my favorite t-shirts now. The Division t-shirt.
Is it worth the $800?
It's pretty awesome. I let my 11-year-old, he also got so hyped about me being so hyped about it that he had to order it and saved his own money.
Residual hype.
So, the content in it, fortunately, he didn't really get far enough into it to get to the point where there was anything I really didn't want him to see. I mean, he already shoots bad guys in other games, so I figured that was fine. So, but yeah, so we played a lot of that, but I think everybody kind of got burnt out of it after a couple months. I don't know. To me, what made it stand out, especially compared to other MMOs, is probably the two biggest things. The shooting gameplay was very solid. It felt very smooth. It felt, even better than some shooters. Some shooters, especially some small-time companies, are shooting something the main focus of the game. Like, it just doesn't feel smooth, right? But this was an MMO that managed to pull it off. The shooting mechanics were great, I felt. Registry was pretty good.
It was
overall.
I don't know it's like over-the-shoulder third person, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, I guess Gears of War style, even though I haven't played the Gears of War games, but it's that sort of style. But yeah, it wasn't hard to get used to that, even as a first-person shooter player. Predominantly. So yeah, and the other aspect was they recreated New York just so accurately and on such a true scale. Like, you're walking around such a huge portion of Manhattan that, like, just walking around the game to me was more entertaining than almost anything I've done in any MMO. Is just awesome.
I was gonna say, yeah, I read a lot of stuff, and I was debating picking up for the longest time. Like, the environment apparently was is quite amazing. Like, it's
unreal. Just absolutely unparalleled. But, suffers from a lot of the common problems to MMOs now is they come out, and when they come out, they don't have anywhere near the content of any established MMOs, especially you compare them to WoW, which may or may not appear later on your list.
Spoilers again.
Mr. WoW player. And, yeah, so, I think we all got a little bored of it because of that. We've revisited a bit and had fun. The content's definitely improved. I don't know if it's improved to the point where I'm going to stick with it, but I still think it was a significant accomplishment. I really think to make it work, they need to make the PvP area bigger because PvP is sort of one of the main focuses of the game. Whether you really want to or not, and just the area got too repetitive. That was the most repetitive part for me, was just the PvP area it was like a 6x6 block radius basically, or maybe even a little bigger, but it just still wasn't quite big enough to not feel stale.
Didn't they just introduce like a new patch that had like a new survival mode in it? Have you checked that out yet?
No.
I hear it's quite good, and it's bringing a lot of the player base back. Like, even the people that were looking at the end game, like, I guess you call it raiding content, not the PvP, but the PvE kind of stuff, it brought a lot of them back to the PvP, because it's like, you start and you have nothing. You have no gear, you have like I guess you have like a pistol, but that's about it. And you have to like craft clothes, and you get cold, and you gotta find food. It's like a whole King of the Hill, like, survival.
Well, I mean, that makes sense because, I mean, you're in the middle of winter and whatnot, and you're in a zone with limited supplies, so it's a good idea if that's what they've done. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, take a look.
Okay, so on to number 3 for me. And I think this must have come out at the beginning of the year because it's not the freshest in my memory, but XCOM 2. I don't know, have you played any of the previous XCOM games at all?
I got nothing on this one. This one's all you.
Certainly one of the greatest strategy franchises, I think, for, I don't know, an excellent hybrid of kind of more actiony turn-based strategy games. Just basically streamlined and took everything that was good about the older XCOM, like original XCOM game, brought it back, but, you know, streamlined the grindy aspects of it, and just put a new shiny look on it, and basically it was essentially a remake of one of my favorite games of all time, the original XCOM, and the gameplay was even better, improved upon. So I played the crap out of it until I beat it, and unfortunately I beat it. So yeah.
Once you beat it, that's it. The only games I can say that I've ever continued to play after I beat several times, Skyrim and Fallout 4, both Bethesda. Right.
You Bethesda junkie.
Those are both Bethesda. Yeah. Those are the only 2 games that I like have beat and then was like, I want to go back and play this again. But that's because they both have a huge replayability. You can play it completely different.
Is it sadder that I didn't actually beat Skyrim but just continued to play it? I just was just
you never
must
finished the
do
storyline?
all side quests ever.
But it's impossible though. They respawn or like they
Well, no, but there's all the main side quests, right?
Okay,
There were the non-randomly generated side quests.
Hey, there's bandits at this camp. You should probably go check it out. Yeah. No.
Yeah. No.
Those bandits
Fallout
can
4
have
I did
that
actually
camp.
beat though.
I beat that 3 times.
I did want to beat Far Harbor. It's still on my wish list. Wink.
I don't even own it. Wink. I feel like you have a birthday coming up soon.
I feel like you have a birthday coming up a week sooner.
Yeah, 6 days sooner. Take that. So number 3.
Okay, don't worry, everyone. His birthday's not Hitler's birthday.
21st.
He just missed it.
Yeah. I'm good. So number 3 for me is Doom 2016. I won't go into tremendous detail. Everybody knows this game is awesome. It's exactly what I wanted out of Doom. It's
How's
running.
the multiplayer?
I did not touch it. I haven't even loaded it. I haven't patched it. I don't care.
It's so good you don't even care.
I wanted it for the single player because that's what the Doom experience is. Well, okay, yeah, there are those who are hardcore into the multiplayer, or were back in the day. To me, Doom is a single player campaign, and it did not disappoint. The story was surprisingly good, considering it's a run and gun game. Like, where are you gonna pull story out of? But they did a really good job. The details, like it was graphically really nice.
Better than Far Cry Primal?
Because
Far Cry has always been known
really
to push the
different,
envelope, but
right?
Doom 3 pushed the envelope too, so...
Like, Far Cry Primal was all about, like, nature and animals, whereas Doom is, like, monsters and you're on Mars. And, well, actually, you're in hell, sorry.
A lot of red tones versus a lot of green tones.
There was a lot of red. And again, like I said, it's the reason why I bought my i5 and the RX 480. Yes, that's right. I bought an Intel chip and an AMD card. Take
Some
that,
of us
NVIDIA
would call
fanboys.
That blasphemy, but anyway.
You know what? I'm on a budget. You're on a budget. And when you have a budget, you gotta squeeze every penny out.
I have an AMD card and an NVIDIA graphics card. So,
what?
AMD chip.
Oh, you have an AMD chip and an NVIDIA graphics card.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So there you go.
There you go.
I am equally and oppositely hypocritical.
Yeah. Well, I used to be all red. Now I'm red and blue. But that's just because, getting into this little bit of content creation, I needed a better processor. And there was a huge sale on the i5 6600K that I got from NCIX. Not a sponsor, by the way.
Not yet.
I got from them on Black Friday for like $220. That's Canadian. When I got screwed over.
It's like $8.75 American.
Yeah, I got screwed over because I ordered late. It said there was some in stock, but it got back ordered. So
Although,
I
not
still
for
got
long with Trump. Anyways,
hopefully that'll change. We'll get better exchange. So it got back ordered. So I had to contact customer care, and he's like, "I've never ever seen it this low before. You do not want to cancel this order." Because I was debating canceling and picking up the i7, which was like $80 more. But he's like, "This is fantastical. Just keep your order. You'll get it. It might take an extra week." And I was like, "Yeah, okay. My video card's on back order anyways. I might as well just wait." Waited it out. Glad I did.
so now you can play Doom.
Now I can play, and I beat Doom. So now doing your weird snaky
Snake draft. It's not a hard concept.
Whatever.
It keeps it fair and even when you have an even number of rounds, which I guess we do with the honorable mentions. So
we go into my number 2, which I think might actually be your number 1 or number 2, or I know it's on your list somewhere, and it's Overwatch.
Oh, you're psychic now.
Of course. Come on. You are like 5 times my level in that game. You've reset what, twice? I haven't even reset once yet.
Don't reset. Anyways,
you hit 100 and you roll back up and you start leveling again.
Well, I guess it is kind of a reset.
It's a reset.
All right.
You've reset twice. I haven't reset yet. I'm like level 50 out of 100.
So what game are you talking about?
Overwatch. I already said Overwatch.
Okay. How's it number 1 on your list? What are you talking about?
Well, you'll hear my 1 when I get to 1.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Anyways, Overwatch, everybody praises it, obviously, because it's an amazing game. It's just, I don't even know what to say. It took TF2 and made it better.
Panty removing, like, just absolutely...
Did you just
ridiculously
wait.
amazingly awesome.
I'm going to have to listen to this again, because I'm pretty sure you just said panty removing
It does everything, man. It removes panties, it removes old wallpaper, it removes, paint that you just can't chip off the wall.
That's how glorious this game is for anybody who's never played it.
It's like turpentine, CLR, and gin all rolled into one.
So, this coming from Ryan, this game will get you time with the opposite sex.
And make repainting your room faster.
You heard it here first, folks. Go buy Overwatch for those 2 reasons. Not because it's a good game, but because it's going to get you some, and it's going to make your room look awesome. Anyways, good game. I've always been a fan of team-based shooters. You know that. This one, for me, it just took it to a whole new level. And I haven't touched the competitive mode as much as you, but I hear you've got some stories with regards to competitive mode. I had the best game of my life the other day. I was just telling you about this, Mer. I was like set up for 4 out of 6 gold medals. I was playing my best hero, which for anybody who does listen and plays is Junkrat. I was just crushing it. And then my Battle.net crashed. And I not only got a loss, I didn't get any of those gold medals, didn't get any of the experience, but I also got banned for 10 minutes. Or I guess that's more of a suspension. I got suspended for 10 minutes, and not just from the competitive play. I got suspended from Overwatch.
That's because levers are bad.
Levers are bad.
Although, if you can get back in time, it should put you back in the game, but you probably
we were
just
right
lost
at the end. We had like 20 seconds left, and I got
doubly
disconnected. It was like a full circle slap in the face, kick in the nuts. I was sad. And you can ask my wife. I turned around and I was like, "This is the worst day I've had in a long time, honey." And she kind of laughed at me. And then
I've been playing really well lately, and I am 1-11 in my last 12
like a boss. Games. Like a boss.
I know. I was on a huge streak before that, so I don't know if that's just the law of averages.
It's karma.
Kicking my ass, but just I don't know. There's been a lot of people who don't seem to, really know the overall strategy of Overwatch and the basics. Hey, there's a Reinhardt shield. Let's all stand behind it and set up at a choke point. Anyways, so on to my number 2.
Nope, you didn't do your number 3.
I did my number 3. That was XCOM. Then you did your number 3.
Oh, and then I did my number 2. See, I don't know how this works. I don't like the system.
Your number 3 was 2. It's okay.
At least I understand how...
I'm on top of things.
Apparently I don't understand how it works. Okay, you go ahead.
The co-host is supposed to be on top of things. That's how it always works.
Oh, yeah. I just sit here and look good in my glasses, apparently.
Okay, don't make me go home and get my fake glasses. I still have them.
If we ever do,
they look really good.
If we ever do like a live one, like a live stream one,
First episode,
you gotta wear your fake
glasses.
Yeah,
and people, okay, as long as you're prepared for the amount of comments, and be like, "Oh, that Ryan, he looks so smart. He looks so handsome. Oh, it's a shame that he has astigmatism or something." But so on to my number 2.
Oh, good.
Probably no surprise, but Battlefield 1. Being a first-person shooter fan, I was extremely disappointed last year, well, I guess 2015, previous year, by Star Wars Battlefront, because it wasn't really a Battlefield game. I was really hoping for Battlefield Star Wars, and what we got was some kind of hybrid Call of Duty Star Wars Battlefield crap in between. So, pardon me. So I was really surprised when Battlefield 1 actually turned out to be really, really good. I'm not a huge fan of older settings. Like I wasn't really a big fan of 1942. And I was a much bigger fan of Battlefield 2 and into the more modern games.
You know these wars actually happen though, right?
Yes. But I'm saying the setting. I don't enjoy the older style weapons. Like I wasn't expecting to enjoy Battlefield 1 that much because I like the more modern stuff.
Like Infinite Warfare where you're in space.
That's Call of Duty. That's crap.
I know. I'm just pointing
out. That's crap one out every year.
It's like space versus a real.
They even put duty in the title. I mean, come on, guys. Like, and that's not to say there aren't some good Call of Duty titles, but I do believe that even though they're made by separate studios, being forced to pump one out every year, it's exhausting that particular franchise. So
I think this was the one that was like that nail in the coffin. Actually.
Sadly, I was. What was the one right before Infinite Warfare? Was
I haven't played Call of
Future
Duty
Fighter, or whatever, something like that. But the first one where they had jetpacks and stuff, I was actually excited for that because that I thought might bring back that Quake 3 arena kind of gameplay because there hadn't really been a replacement game for Quake 3 Arena. I mean, there's Quake Online or Quake Live now. Doom 3 tried. But nothing's really caught on, and I thought something like that might catch on and fill that void, adding that little more fast-paced, arcadey action to Call of Duty, and then further separate it from Battlefield, but it didn't really work from all intents. The last couple Call of Duties have been pretty poorly reviewed by everybody, so... Yeah. Anyways, Battlefield 1, big surprise for me that I enjoyed it as much as I did. The gameplay is just phenomenal. Feels a little more streamlined even than Battlefield 4 with the classes and whatnot. The map design is just awesome, just unreal map design. New gameplay modes are really good. So anyone who's a fan of the Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, those types of games, likes the big maps, just Battlefield 1, give it a go. You won't be disappointed. I actually pretty much skipped the story too, and all of our friends were really impressed with the story. My brother loved the story. Everybody was like, "Oh," and it's an interesting juxtaposition because it's a game where you're just repeatedly killing people over and over again.
Yeah,
but the story
been a single player game.
Is about it really humanizes the conflict apparently and emphasizes how horrible it is. How horrible World War I was and how precious life is. And then you go and play a game where you just kill people over and over.
Well, I heard something like that, but I also heard a huge criticism about it. There's one level, spoilers, this probably lasts about 30 seconds, but anyways, you're in like a metal suit of armor and you're walking up a hill and you like shoot tanks. And you're like a walking tank. And it's so beyond anything comprehensible. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That it just pulls you right out of the immersion. I've heard
you
that
don't
from
watch Iron Man 1?
People.
Come on.
Oh, yeah, well, okay. Yeah, but that's intentionally
Tony
fake.
Stark, the everyman. The smartest man in the world,
that's intentionally fake. This is meant to, like, bring you into the World War I and, like, immerse you in the grittiness of it all, and then all of a sudden you are Iron Man.
Well, in the multiplayer... you can pick up the flamethrower and minigun suits where you're in like an armored suit.
That's it. That's the one.
I mean, if a tank hits you, you're still toast.
Well, I guess
so I don't know if
the
tanks are
campaign's
hitting you,
designed a little different then,
but
I guess.
yeah. So I don't know. I didn't hear any complaints about the campaign. I only heard good things, and maybe that it's so good overall that people could overlook one minor level like that. So.
And I think you do have one shooter game though that topped it this year, which leads to your number one. Because I already know what your number one is.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead 3.
What?
No. Or Overwatch. But Overwatch.
What? That came out? I missed that? That would be amazing. When that comes out,
sometimes my competitive mode games feel like I've been Left 4 Dead 3 times. But especially lately. Overwatch, the genre blending miracle Jesus game that is Moses in a basket. I think I managed to
chew us out for
so many different religions.
Someone's gonna hate on us there for some. Whatever. Don't hate, appreciate.
Yeah. For me, it solved my main problems that I had with MOBA games like Dota and League of Legends, in that the games are too long and
Dota's
not
even
necessarily
worse now with the new
dynamical enough. Yeah. Oh, let's patch it, make it longer.
They're like 70, 80-minute games now.
Well, how many times would we log on to League or something, and 2 or 3 friends would be playing, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll just wait for you to be done, and 20 minutes later, they're like, oh, we're still in the middle of the game, and it's a pretty even game, and so you start a game, and so you just never get to play with them because they finish halfway through your game, and you just keep going like that. So, I mean, just the fact that the average game time for quick play in Overwatch is 8 minutes, and for competitive is probably about double, about 15 minutes. So, I mean, just that alone, you can sit back. You have no problems waiting 5 minutes to play with your friends. That's fine. And waiting half an hour, 45 minutes, that sucks. So you get to play with your friends more.
You can play Tetris while you wait.
It's more action-packed. You counter things on the fly, which being more of a first-person shooter background for me, I like more. I mean, I like the extra added strategy, but I don't like that, you're stuck with it for the whole 45-minute game if you screw up, right, in League of Legends.
Or if you're doing poorly with that hero, you just have an off day.
Or one person picks a hero they can't really play very well in League of Legends, and it screws the whole team basically right from the beginning. Whereas in Overwatch, maybe they're like, oh crap, I'm not doing well in this. Hey, can someone else play X and I'll play Y, and that'll work. Like, you can do that. You can talk to people. Admittedly, people don't tend to talk enough, at least at my competitive level. So I think once you get up into master and diamond and whatnot, it gets better. But at my level, still, you get a lot of. It's pretty random, pretty widespread. The level of team that you can get stuck with. So
oh God.
I always try to communicate, but even I think my last 4 games, I didn't even think the whole team was getting into team chat, so that's just kind of depressing and sad.
We could probably fill a whole episode with bad Overwatch stories.
Yes,
we could. We won't do that because that would be
I will say,
although that would be kind of funny.
Well, I can finish it off with a good Overwatch story. My 11-year-old was playing comp with me. I was like, he may want to come to a LAN coming up with us, and I'm like, all right, if you get your Reinhardt where you're confident in it, that'll free one of us up from having to play Reinhardt every time. Reinhardt's not the hardest hero to play at a competent level. So, and he's excellent for 11, decent overall. He hit the entire other team with his ult at one point, attacking Eichenwald. Awesome.
That's even,
he was so proud of himself. He's like, I hit all 6 of them, Jenny! And of course, I was fair. I was circling around behind, so I didn't even get to see it because there's that giant thing in the middle of the way. And all of a sudden, I just see the aftermath. There's 3 guys left and sort of hobbling away from the hammer down. So it was pretty awesome. He was very proud. So maybe we'll end up taking the LAN after all.
That'd be cool.
All right. And drum roll.
Yeah, my number one. No surprise to you. It's probably no surprise to a lot of people, being that in the first episode I said I played this a lot. But for me, it's World of Warcraft Legion. Surprise!
Hold on. What's World of Warcraft?
Yeah, give me a break.
I've never heard of this game.
You've been out, what, 2? This is the second expansion?
Do a lot of people play it?
Only, 10 million. Actually, no, I think the subscribers dropped again. I think they're down to 7. Which is still a lot of people.
That's a fair amount of people.
That is, there's a couple, it's maybe the size of Vancouver. We're good, don't worry.
It's like twice the size of BC.
That's what there's
about twice the size of BC.
That's about 20% of Canada, actually. Canada's about 45 million people.
No, I think we're still under 40, aren't we?
Well, there you go. It's even more then. Regardless, doesn't matter. This one for me has been the best expansion yet. However,
don't you say that every expansion?
No, Worlds of Draenor was dumb.
Okay, that's true. I never heard anyone talk about it.
They introduced the garrisons, which just became where you hung out. So you'd log on, you'd go in your garrison, you collect your herbs, you collect your ore, you collect your blah, 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 and you just stand there. And since you don't have to go out into the world anymore, except for questing, which you do to max level and then you're done, you just stand around in your garrison. It basically became glorified chat.
So it's kind of like someone was like, oh, we'll make it all easier for you. And it sounded like a good idea, and people probably thought it would be a good idea, but actually when it came out,
it's because people have been screaming for player housing for so long. This was their attempted player housing. And you could cross zone into each other's garrisons, which was nice. So you could have 4 or 5 people there, and you could play around and whatever, but there's not much you can do. And so you just end up standing around. But now, with this one, not only have they introduced new artifact weapons and all kinds of stuff, there's now world quests. And you basically have to go out into the world. You have to interact with the game world in order to remain relevant in the game. But there are a couple of exceptions. If you're PvP, it's the same. You just queue up and it sends you into a PvP battleground. That's about it. Although there are bonuses if you do the world quest stuff, even for PvP. And then if you do pet battles, which is just Pokemon, and that's not something I'm interested in, so I don't ever do pet battles. Regardless, I've put a lot of time into Legion, and they're just about to release the new rating tier, and I'm switching mains, and our guild leader is not super psyched about it, but he's always got the mindset, play what you like to play, so I don't care. I'm switching. It's gonna be fun. That's it. That's my 5. That was your 5, right?
That was my 5. And just for the record, I quit WoW cold turkey how many years ago?
Only 2 expansions ago. No, 3.
No, 3 now.
You played...
I did not play Mists of Pandaria. I played Cataclysm.
Okay, so yeah,
a little bit of Cataclysm.
You're 3 behind. Because there was Mists,
Cold Turkey,
Warlords, and now there was Legion.
It's not to say it's not a well-done MMO.
You'll be back.
But it got too... Felt too much like work.
You wouldn't even know how to play anymore.
Elder Scrolls Online is significantly better.
Yeah. We got to run through our honorable mentions really fast because we're coming up on the end here. We're going to try to keep these between 30 and 45 minutes. So, yeah. Look forward to that.
Unless you want more.
Yeah, unless you want more.
If the people want more, we will listen. Or we will talk. I'm confused. Okay.
Yeah, who listens in the case? Okay, so one of my honorable mentions, you already touched on Final Fantasy 15. I already touched on that. Irrelevant. Same with Civ 6. Already touched on that. I'm enjoying it. Never been a Civ guy, so it's quite the challenge. I'm learning. I've actually had to disable a couple of victory conditions because I lose every time. If I allow faith, I just lose. And there's another, I can't remember what it's called. Culture. Basically, 2 of the
See what I did there?
Yeah.
They'll get it.
I do have little faith. It's hard, honestly. Again, not being a Civ guy coming into this, it's
to be fair, Faith is new. Faith was only introduced in Civ 5. Which I thought was actually one of the best introductions to Civ 5.
It's really hard to combat the AI when you have faith. Because they know it's the easiest way to win. And they all do it. So I can only play against 1 or 2 AIs anyways.
The only thing I ever turn off is the world peace victory because that's just boring.
I don't even think that exists in this one. There's like world domination, but there's no world. I don't think there's world peace.
There's no diplomatic victory?
If there is, I've never seen it. Maybe that's one of the other ones. I disabled quite a few.
I'll teach you how to do the faith. You just got to make sure you're on top of the religion stuff. You can do it all in one. I don't know.
I'm still struggling with the basics, so we'll not worry about faith, and I'll figure out the basics
first. I will teach you the core of being ridiculously awesome at Civ.
Well, you have to play it first for that to happen.
It can't be that much harder than 5.
Anyways, what are your honorable mentions? I think you already touched on them a little bit.
No, I just have the one. Going outside of all of our other platforms for games that we've talked about so far and picking Pokemon Go.
Oh, I had that on my list too, but I was just going to forego the Go. But now that you've mentioned it, I guess we might as well.
Pretty revolutionary, pretty fatty, I think. Definitely seems to have died off a lot from where it was at.
Well,
But I think because
they weren't listening to their player base, and people just got angry and they're like, "This is so dumb and nothing." Blah blah blah, and then they added a patch which corrected some of those issues, and more people came back. But I think a lot of people started to realize, like, I'm just putting money into this for nothing.
Oh, who put money into it? You put money into it?
Oh, I personally did not. Oh, actually, you know what? I won't lie. I put in $3.99.
Oh, you're right. I might have put in a one-time deal too.
Yeah, I put in $3.99, and that was only because I was going out on a walk with my kids and my mom, and it was just like it was going to be like a day.
I did like that it was getting my
lunch.
11-year-old out of the house a lot.
Yeah.
And back into Pokemon, because he kind of liked Pokemon a while ago, a couple years ago, and then he got out of it. But then now he's on, after the Pokemon Go, he got on a bit of a Pokemon kick, and so, he wanted, Alpha Sapphire and now Sun and Moon. So, sorry, Alpha Ruby. I don't know which one of the two he's got, but so that's been good. I think that's a good game for kids. It has a good level of strategy where it can be sort of as complicated as you want it to be for what level you want it to be at. So it's not hard to learn the strategies in it, and if you get interested in, you can go deeper. So it's a good learning game, I think, for him, strategy wise, and it's been good. And Pokemon's very kid friendly, PG.
Yeah.
So
my kids like, let's catch Pokemon. They don't have a clue what they're doing or how to do it. They're trying to flick the Pokeball, and I'm like, you gotta slide your finger off the screen a little bit. You can't just tap it. You can't.
You're teaching them the curveball, right?
I can't even do that.
You're like the dad who can't throw the baseball to his kid. You can throw a baseball.
Hey! I played baseball for a number of years. Once my son gets to that stage,
is the number more than one?
Yes, the number is more than one. I played t-ball. I was little league, and then I was minors, and then on our ballpark there was like
mini minors.
No, it was like they called it major minors, and then there was majors.
Wait.
But again,
played all the way to majors.
The majors in that particular field that I played at was like 15-year-olds.
Okay, but I'm saying you played it to that long?
Yeah. So
you played more baseball than I did?
I was not very good at it, though, so you probably actually physically played more baseball than I did, but I went to more baseball.
Well, to be fair, when you're playing baseball, only 3 people at most are ever doing anything at one time. So
yeah, but also left field when you're children...
Oh, God.
Is like, because everybody swings early. Right field is the worst.
Yeah, right field is the worst.
Everybody swings early, and I was either right field or back catching. Now, back catching I got obviously a lot. But
no, wait. Not everyone swings early. Everyone swings late.
No, I always found that more people swung early, because I got no action out in right field, and I was all going left field, center field.
Because people are right-handed. If you swing late, it'll go...
No, I'm saying people were swinging early. Right. So then it would hit it out to the left field.
Swing early.
Everybody's so anxious. They're children.
Swing too soon? No, that's weird. Normally, I don't know. Anyways.
Either way.
Maybe you have good ball players over there.
We gotta wrap this one up. So that's our top 5s each for the year of 2016. Provided we're still doing this, I'm sure we'll have a 2017 as well later. It looks like there's a lot of good stuff coming out this year.
It'll be extra surprising if we do it in July.
What, July of this year? Our current top 5? Like, I guess we could do like a mid-year, like, what's going on? But
no,
I don't know why I did that. No, we're not going to do that.
Don't worry about that. And I'll make sure he never does that again.
I felt like Jar Jar there. Okay, we don't want to come up with an outro. We're just going to kind of wing it every time.
Hey, whoa. Who said, what's this we business?
Hey.
Maybe I love outros.
This was your
Maybe outros are my... mantra.
Oh, God.
Does that even make any sense? Is that
that does not.
Does that no, definitely use
no, we're just gonna cut it off there. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you on the next episode.
You stay classy, San Francisco.
You can't steal stuff like that.